500,000 people left the UK last year, and that number's still rising. And here's the part no one's telling you. They're not just leaving for sunshine or cheaper homes. They're running from something. The UK you know to exist by 2030. Think that sounds extreme? Just wait. From hospitals breaking down to your job being replaced by AI, from floods swallowing cities to rent prices that feel like robbery, we're not talking theory. These are real, documented warnings most people are ignoring. Ask yourself this: if staying in the UK could put your health, money, and freedom at risk, would you still stay? Stick with me, because the 10 reasons you're about to hear aren't just shocking. They might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Number 1. Rising civil unrest and political polarization. More protests, more division, more people feeling like strangers in their own country. That's what's quietly brewing in the UK, and experts say it's only going to get worse by 2030. In just the past 5 years, has seen a massive rise in civil unrest, fueled by economic inequality, political anger, and growing distrust in leadership. From Brexit battles to climate protests and now public sector strikes, tension is no longer occasional. It's becoming normal. Police forces are reporting higher levels of aggression. Cities like London, Birmingham, and Manchester are seeing more demonstrations turn violent. And here's the scary part: many of these issues are not getting solved. They're just being pushed aside or ignored. When people feel unheard and systems feel broken, what happens next isn't hard to predict. Wider unrest, street-level chaos, and deeper polarization between communities. Surveys now show nearly half of UK residents believe the country is more divided than ever. Turns against itself, it becomes harder to fix anything. Housing, healthcare, education, because people are too busy blaming each other. You don't have to be political to feel this shift. It's in the conversations, it's in the news. It's in the silence between neighbors who no longer trust each other. And it's not just protests anymore. Social media arguments turn into real-world hate. Friendships break. Family dinners go cold. If this continues, the UK could become a place where daily life feels tense, unpredictable, even unsafe. This isn't fear, it's a forecast. And if civil tension keeps rising, many will ask, is this still the place I want to raise my kids? Start a business? Retire in peace? The truth: by 2030, the social contract may be stretched so thin, it finally breaks. Reason number 1. Number 2. NHS collapse risk. Imagine calling 999 and they say it'll be hours before help arrives. Or booking a GP appointment and waiting 3 weeks just to be seen. This isn't science fiction. This is the NHS right now, and it's predicted to get even worse before 2030. The UK's healthcare system, once the pride of the nation, is buckling. In 2023, over 7 million people were stuck on NHS waiting lists. That's more than 10% of the population. Emergency rooms are overwhelmed, staff are burned out. And funding? It's barely keeping the lights on. The Royal College of Emergency Medicine warned that up to 500 avoidable deaths happen each week due to A&E delays. Let that sink in. Lives are being lost, not because doctors don't care, but because the system can't cope. And here's the brutal forecast: if current trends continue, the NHS might shift towards more. That means paying out of pocket for what used to be free. A two-tier system, where only the wealthy get fast, quality care, is no longer a theory. It's a growing reality. Many families are already turning to private GPs and international insurance. But what if you can't afford that? What happens when your child needs urgent care and there's no one available? Healthcare isn't a luxury, it's a basic human need. And if the UK can't protect that, what else is at risk? Imagine getting sick and realizing your country doesn't have your back. That's why more people are packing up and looking elsewhere, somewhere their health is seen, valued, and protected. Would you stay in a place where getting help feels like winning the lottery? drop a comment below. Have you or someone you know faced long NHS delays or cancellations? And if this opened your eyes, subscribe now. There's more you need to hear. Economic downturn and middle-class wipeout. It doesn't happen overnight, it creeps in. One day your salary just covers the bills. The next, you're watching prices rise while your paycheck stays frozen. That's been the quiet reality for millions across the UK, and it's heading toward a full-blown crisis. The middle class, once the heartbeat of Britain, is slowly vanishing. No more savings, no plans for holidays, no hopes of buying a home. Just surviving, paycheck to paycheck. Inflation isn't just some news headline. It's feeling sick walking into a grocery store. It's watching your energy bill eat your income. Even solid jobs now feel like financial traps. And while you stretch your budget thinner each month, taxes climb, services shrink, and the cost of simply existing gets higher. It's not just tough times anymore, unraveling. Major banks and economists are warning that by 2030, without deep reform, the UK could fall into a permanent low-growth trap. That means the economy keeps moving, but most people never see the benefits. And here's what hurts most. When the middle class disappears, everything becomes unstable. Businesses close. Mental health worsens. Families split apart under pressure. You probably feel it already. That tension in your chest when the rent renewal notice arrives. That helplessness when your kid asks why dinner looks smaller. That fear of an unexpected cost sending you over the edge. Unlike past generations, many young Brits no longer believe they'll do better than their parents. That belief, once the core of progress, is fading fast. And when people lose faith, it doesn't explode. It erodes. Quietly, slowly, completely. No alarms, no rescue plan. Just a silent collapse, happening in real time. Number 4. AI and mass job displacement. Most people still think AI is something far away. Something that won't touch their job, their routine, their income. But the truth is quieter, faster, and far more serious. AI isn't coming. It's already here, changing the UK job market faster than any past technology shift. Look around. Supermarkets replacing cashiers, banks closing branches because apps do the work, companies cutting staff after automation upgrades. And this is only the warm-up. Experts warn that by 2030, nearly 1/3 of UK jobs could disappear or change so much that workers can't keep up. And it's not just factory jobs. Teachers, accountants, drivers, lawyers, editors, designers, considered safe, are now at risk. AI doesn't get tired. It doesn't need holidays. It doesn't ask for raises. So businesses choose the cheaper option. And here's the part most people don't want to face. The UK is moving fast toward a future where high-skilled jobs go to those who understand tech, and everyone else is left scrambling. Retraining sounds nice on paper, but when bills are high, time is short, and courses are expensive, how realistic is it for the average worker to reinvent their career? The result? A growing divide between those who adapt early and those who get replaced before they even know what happened. Imagine spending 20 years in a job only to hear your role is now automated. Imagine sending out dozens of CVs, but every company wants skills you've never had the chance to learn. Imagine working hard your whole life, then being told, this isn't a movie, it's the path the UK is already on. And if the country doesn't prepare its people for this shift, the next wave of job losses could be unlike anything we've ever seen. Number 5. Environmental decline and climate unpredictability. It used to be rare. Floods, droughts, freak storms. Now it feels like the UK's weather has turned wild. In just the last few years, entire neighbourhoods have been underwater. Heat waves hit with deadly force. Crops failed. Reservoirs dried up. This isn't just bad luck, it's the new climate reality. Experts say the UK is warming faster than many parts of Europe. And the forecast for the next decade? Worse. More coastal erosion, rising sea levels, increased flooding, drier summers, and a stretched thin government trying to manage it all. It's not just about soggy shoes and ruined weekends anymore. Flood damage is costing homeowners thousands. Insurance rates are rising or being cancelled altogether in high-risk zones. Some homes may become uninsurable by 2030. And while the South deals with heat and drought, the North faces repeated flooding and cold snaps. Food prices will climb as farms struggle. Energy use will spike as people try to stay warm or cool. Most cities aren't even close to being ready. Old drainage systems, poor insulation, vulnerable infrastructure. We're living in houses built for a climate that no longer exists. And for families with kids, it's heartbreaking. Children growing up indoors during heat waves. School closures from weather damage. Constant disruption that chips away at normal life. People dream of a future where their children can thrive. But how can you plan for that when the environment keeps turning against you? More are asking, is this the landscape we want to raise our families in? The UK isn't becoming unlivable overnight, but it is becoming less stable, less predictable, and far more dangerous than we remember. And by 2030, that danger might not be something we can adapt to anymore. Number 6. Housing market collapse and rent inflation. For years, owning a home was the dream. Now, it feels like a cruel joke. Across the UK, housing has become a trap. Prices that make no sense, mortgages people can't afford, rent that eats more than half a paycheck. And the worst part? It's not just a London problem anymore, it's everywhere. In the last decade, property prices have soared beyond wage growth. A one-bedroom flat in a modest four-bedroom home did just 15 years ago. And for renters, it's even worse. Record high demand, shrinking supply, and landlords hiking prices just because they can. Young people? Most have given up. More than half of renters under 35 believe they'll never own a home. Many are stuck living with parents, flat sharing deep into their 30s, or forced to move far from jobs just to find something affordable. And then there's the ticking bomb: interest rates. As they rise, mortgage repayments jump, homeowners start to default. Buy-to-let investors sell off properties, and renters are left scrambling for fewer and fewer options. This could trigger a full housing market crash. Experts have warned that without massive intervention, a bubble burst is coming. Prices could fall fast, hurting owners, but rents will stay high because demand won't go away. What does that mean? People stuck in bad housing. Families split because of space, home life. And once a country loses control of housing, everything else starts to wobble. Education, health, employment, community. It's not just about bricks and mortar, it's about the feeling of never being settled, never being safe, never being home. And if things keep moving like this, by 2030, the UK may be the place where housing becomes the crisis no one can escape. Number 7. Loss of personal freedoms and surveillance growth. You don't need to be a criminal to feel watched anymore. In the UK, just walking down the street means you're likely being filmed. But it's not just CCTV anymore, it's much deeper, much quieter. Britain now has some of the most advanced surveillance systems in the democratic world. Facial recognition technology, phone data tracking, and social media monitoring have all become normalized. And it's accelerating fast. Under recent laws, the government can legally access your browsing history, read your messages, and even monitor your location without needing a full warrant. It's all in the name of safety. But where's the line? People used to joke about Big Brother. Now it's real. From protests being recorded to journalists being tracked, even peaceful activists have found themselves flagged or followed. Freedom of speech is starting to feel like a privilege, one that can be quietly taken away. And it's not just about what you say. It's about what you post, who you follow, what groups you're part of online. Imagine losing a job because of a tweet. or being questioned over a private message. This isn't paranoia. It's already happening to people you don't hear about. The bigger danger? Most folks don't even know. It all happens in the background, no dramatic news. Just quiet control, growing more powerful year by year. And if you think you have nothing to hide, remember this: the rules about what's acceptable are always changing. What's fine today might be a red flag tomorrow. By 2030, the UK could be a place where privacy is gone and silence becomes self-protection. Because once freedom is lost, it rarely comes back the way it left. Number 8. Declining education standards. Once considered a global leader in education, the UK is now facing a quiet collapse in its school system, and it's happening faster than most parents realize. Class sizes are growing, teachers are leaving, budgets are shrinking. And the result? A generation of children being left behind. Across the country, schools are cutting essentials, support staff, mental health services, programs, just to stay open. Meanwhile, overworked teachers are quitting in record numbers, many citing burnout, low pay, and lack of respect. In 2024 alone, more than 40,000 teachers left the profession. That's not just a number. That's classrooms without leadership, kids without guidance, futures slipping away quietly. And the curriculum, it's falling behind. Many UK students are now performing below average in reading, science, and maths compared to other developed nations. What once was a system that produced some of the world's brightest minds is now struggling to give every child the basics. The impact isn't just academic, it's emotional. Stressed out teachers, overstretched schools, and overwhelmed students create a learning environment built more on survival than growth. Children are missing out on skills they'll need for tomorrow's job market, and even today's. And for parents, the pressure is tuition costs are skyrocketing. Good state schools are oversubscribed, and the fear that your child won't have a fair shot is becoming a daily reality. Education is supposed to be the great equalizer, but right now it's becoming a great divider, separating those who can afford to supplement and those who fall further behind. If this trend continues, by 2030, the UK could face a lost generation, one not failed by effort, but by a system that stopped working. And that loss would echo for decades. Number 9. Rising cost of living without wage growth. You don't need a headline to tell you things are getting more expensive. You feel it every time you shop, pay a bill, or fill up the car. The cost of living in the UK has exploded, and wages haven't kept up. It's not just unsustainable. Food prices have jumped more in the last 3 years than in the entire previous decade. Energy bills are still sky high, even after government support schemes. Public transport costs more than some people earn in a day. And yet, your paycheck? It's barely moved. For many, full-time work no longer guarantees a stable life. People are working 40-plus hours a week and still dipping into savings, or worse, falling into debt. It's no longer just the unemployed or vulnerable struggling. Middle-class families, skilled professionals, even dual-income households are feeling the squeeze. And when wages don't rise, it's not just about money, it's about dignity. It's watching your child go without. It's saying no to basic things, shoes, school trips, even birthday gifts, because you simply can't afford them. It's the silence after month, eating away at your health and your hope. Businesses, too, are caught in the storm. They can't pay more if they're barely surviving rising operational costs. It becomes a cycle. People earn less, spend less, and the whole economy starts to stall. And here's the grim reality. This isn't a temporary blip. Without bold policy change, the UK is on track for a long-term affordability crisis. One where life keeps getting harder and the rewards keep shrinking. By 2030, it's possible that just getting by could be the new norm. And for a country as wealthy as the UK, that's a warning sign we can't afford to ignore. Number 10. Surge in UK citizens already leaving. Thousands aren't waiting for things to get worse. They're already gone. Over the past few years, more and more British citizens have quietly packed their bags and started over abroad. And we're not talking about pensioners chasing. We're talking young families, skilled workers, entire households. Why? Because many no longer believe the UK can offer them the life they want. In 2023 alone, over 90,000 people officially emigrated. And surveys show that up to 1 in 10 young adults are actively planning to leave before 2030. Not because they hate Britain, but because they feel stuck in a system that no longer rewards effort, protects well-being, or provides a real future. They're heading to places like Canada, Germany, Australia, and the Netherlands, where healthcare access is faster, housing is more affordable, and wages match the cost of living. And many of them aren't looking back. They find communities with better public services, safer streets, and education systems that work. They report feeling less anxious, more supported, and more in control of their future. Moving abroad isn't easy, but staying in a place that keeps pulling you down, that's harder. It's not unpatriotic to want more for yourself and your family. It's not selfish to feel like the UK isn't working for you anymore. And when enough people make that choice, it says something deeper. That the silent exodus is really a vote of no confidence in where the country is headed. If so many are leaving now, what happens when things get even tougher? By 2030, the UK might not be just losing talent. It could be losing its soul, one quiet departure at a time. If you've made it this far, ask yourself, what would it take for you to leave? Or stay? We want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment, even if it's just one word. Check out our last video. It dives deeper into what the media... And hey, we pour everything into these. One click to subscribe means the world.